Well, the day has finally arrived. We've got some new swag to field test, and of course, I've got thoughts on all the new offerings. Also, check out another one of these zany clips I just recorded. This is actually one of my teammates' arms that is, well, I have no idea what it's doing, but this is absolutely mental what this game can sometimes do. Welcome to the channel. This is LtBuzzLitebeer, and the Polar Patriots Warbond dropped earlier today, and I wanted to wait to post my thoughts until I had some actual hands-on time with the new weapons and armor. We've also got a bit of a possible hint towards future weapon balancing coming from the CEO himself, and relief may be on the way. Remember to hit subscribe and to ring that notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts, and here's all the latest from Helldivers. Alright, today's Superstore is now set for 3 days, and alert, it actually has some new items for purchase, and it feels like forever since that's happened, right? First off, we've got the new CW9 White Wolf medium armor with extra padding for a higher armor rating, the matching CW9 White Wolf helmet, the CE64 Grenadier helmet, and the sick-looking CE64 Grenadier heavy body armor with engineering kit for reduced recoil and +2 grenades. And if you've been keeping tabs on previous body armor resets, this is the first heavy body armor we've seen with engineering kit. Also, take a look at the shop prices, as both body armors, possibly because they're new, I honestly don't know, but they're both priced at 300 super credits each. The major order is not looking good. We are now less than 24 hours to go. Both Heath and Angel's Venture are fully liberated, and we've started in on Veld, which, once this video goes live, will probably be sitting at around 50% liberated, while poor Akamar 4 is still in the 0% range. Now, unless we get several 100,000 divers all logging in at the same time and hitting both of these planets, I just don't see us getting through this one, which is a shame because those 40 medals would really come in handy for the new Warbond. What will help out with those purchases is today's daily or personal order to kill 35 warriors. And in case you don't know what this bug type looks like, they really resemble brood commanders in shape and coloring, but they are not nearly as big or tough. You will normally find them in a supporting role with those aforementioned brood commanders, and again, they're not that tough to take down. Kill 35 of them and you're going to pick up 15 medals. Alright, on to the big news, the Polar Patriots Warbond. And I have it. And I spent the better part of the morning unlocking and testing out the 3 new primary weapons. And as of yesterday, today's Warbond release was not a sure thing. You see, Johan, Arrowhead's CEO, actually took to Twitter to poll the Helldiver community based on concerns that the players were still feeling the sting of what we had gone through over the past weekend in terms of Sony, in terms of PlayStation, and that mandatory account linking fiasco. He posted a poll to Twitter, and with over 182,000 votes and sitting at a 74% ratio, the community overwhelmingly voted yes to releasing that new Warbond today. Of course, the big question is the Warbond itself. Is it worth it? Should you buy it for the gear and weaponry on offer? Now, my very short answer to this is yes, but I do want to give you the full guided tour along with my thoughts because, just being honest with you, if you only buy the Warbonds for the new weapons, Polar Patriots is actually very mid. Same thing for the armor. If you're just here for the new sets, again, on that isolated issue, very mid, but they do look pretty good in terms of visuals. Okay, but Buzz, you said we should buy it. What gives? Well, let me explain by running through the offerings. Weapons are up first, and I've unlocked, used, and field tested all 3 new primary weapons, and we're going to start off with the AR-61 Tenderizer Assault Rifle, which I've seen called the Halo Rifle by the Helldiver community. Now, the first thing you notice with this new assault rifle are the stats, which on paper show less capacity, i.e. ammo, and less fire rate than the very first beginner AR, the Liberator. Now, is that a mistake? I don't think so. I honestly don't know what the studio's intention was with the Tenderizer, but it felt very Liberator-esque to me, and hopefully that makes sense to you. It's not bad. It has decent accuracy and base damage, but it lacks a bit in mag capacity. Now against lower level chaff, yeah, no problem, but anything past there, this weapon basically becomes useless. And unlike, say, something like the sickle and the fact that it can just constantly fire and not need to reload, when you use the Tenderizer, you will constantly be reloading, and they are painfully slow. And when you're getting swarmed by a million bugs at once, a several second reload is brutal. Now, I did not test the Tenderizer versus the bots, and it may do better over there, but it just felt, again, very Liberator to me, although the bassy sounds of the weapon when it fires around are super satisfying. Again, not a bad weapon, but definitely not something I would look to when I want to bring my best to the fight. Next up is the OMG, what a badass goat, SMG, the Pummeler. Now, this is why we play Helldivers, for moments just like this, and the Pummeler checks so many boxes for me. Just looking over the stats, and this is essentially a modified Defender SMG with what looks like a slow rate of fire, and if you just stared at those base stats, you would probably pass on this thing, but that would be a monumental mistake. Not only does the Pummeler have light armor penetration and can be wielded one-handed, in case you want to pair it with the ballistic shield, but it also has a hidden talent, and that it can stun lock targets small and large, ending up at bile spewers. So sadly, no bile titan stuns from this noisy cricket. Now, if a bile spewer is about to spit at you, hit it with the Pummeler, and it will just stun lock this thing in place. Brood commanders and warriors are much the same. It can even stun a charger, and we tested it out this morning, but you can actually kill a charger in about 3 mags if you shoot the tail. However, the Pummeler will struggle at longer ranges as the accuracy just gives out, and it's not the hardest hitting weapon in the game, but this combo of stuns and decent damage makes this weapon a must for every diver. And finally, let's talk about the PLAS 101 Purifier. And of all the weapons on offer in this Warbond, this was the one I was most looking forwards to, and sadly, it's just meh. But let me explain. Think of this as if the Scorcher, Arc Thrower, and Punisher Plasma Shotgun were all blended together, and out came this, the Purifier. It looks and handles very much like the Scorcher. It has to charge up before releasing a single shot, just like the Arc Thrower, although it is significantly less powerful, and it delivers a plasma-like explosion with an AoE, or area of effect, just like the Punisher. Now, when it hits, and I was actually aiming into mobs, trying to get multi-kills, this thing can be a lot of fun, but it is slow. Really slow, and by the time you are ready to deliver your follow-up shot, you've already been swarmed, and if you happen to deliver that shot too close to other divers or yourself, it can easily kill both. I think for me, it is the charge-up mechanic itself that really holds this weapon concept back. It just kills the whole damn thing. Fire, charge, fire, it just gets hectic, constantly waiting to have it ready again to fire, and again, if the targets get too close while you're waiting for it to fire, you can potentially kill yourself. The damage delivery is okay, but everything that happens before the shot is fired just doesn't work that well. Quickly over to the armor sets, and on page 1 for 18 medals is the heavy CW36 Winter Warrior body armor with servo assisted for 30% throwing range, and it also provides plus 50% limb health. On page 2, there's the CW22 Kodiak with its subtle camo flavor, and this is again a heavy body armor set with fortified for reduced recoil and 50% resistance to explosive damage. And finally on page 3, there's the CW4 Arctic Ranger for 64 medals, and it features Scout as the passive for reduced detection by enemies, and markers generate scans every 2 seconds, and this is a lightweight armor set. So in terms of passives, there's nothing new here, but unlike previous Warbonds, 2 of these armor sets actually feature dual passives on a single set. Also, Kodiak and Arctic Ranger both have a distinctive look, and I happen to really like both. Of course, there is the standard offerings of matching helmets, banners, capes, emotes, and super credits that can all be purchased with medals, and I did want to make mention that all 3 of these new emotes are pretty damn good looking. I also need to stock up on medals to purchase and unlock the Space Desert Eagle P113 Verdict pistol, and maybe anyone that already has it can sound off in the comments section below and let us all know how it is to use. But for today, let's finish off the Warbond discussion with 2 hidden gems on these pages, starting off with the Motivational Shocks booster on page 1 for a measly 15 medals, and this thing is an absolute steal to pick up. Now, one thing that drives divers crazy and leads to a huge number of deaths is bug acid, or really anything that hits us and slows us down, like those hunter slow stuns. Well, this booster allows us to recover quickly and get out of those slow stuns a lot faster. Now, I didn't time the difference, but my entire squad agreed that the differences were night and day when we were using this booster and when we were not. Also, side note here, it doesn't seem to do anything against those Bile Titan stuns, so sadly, that's out. To kind of wrap this up, on page 2, there's the new Incendiary Grenade for 25 medals, and the effects of this new grenade don't last that long, and they aren't super powerful, but you can use it to really create barriers between you and large mobs of oncoming enemies, and it is this utility of this grenade that makes it so damn useful. On a side note, we've already started a poll over in my Helldiver Discord, and it's going about as I expected, with approximately 57% of votes calling this new Warbond right in the middle, between great and terrible. Translation, meh. That being said, I would still recommend picking it up simply for that new S-tier SMG, the Motivational Shocks booster, which is clutch, and this new Incendiary Grenade. Outside of that, the new armor sets do have a distinct look to them, and several have dual passives. The new Assault Rifle is somewhere in the middle for me, and the Purifier is just not cutting it. If Johan can get proactive and get involved with his balance team, as he has indicated he already will, and get them on board with what the Helldiver community has been asking for, basically choosing fun over everything else, then this new SMG really stands a chance of not being touched. Fingers crossed then that all the previous weapons that have been crushed into dust can then be resurrected. But he is right. Every time we find something fun, something powerful, the fun is removed. And in a game like Helldivers, everything is built off of having fun. However, if it swings the other way, we will end up with another Eruptor on our hands. Brilliant at launch and then slowly dismembered based on spreadsheets and power delta discussions. Now, don't get me wrong, overall, I like this Warbond way more than I did the Democratic Detonation Warbond. I just worry about the strong items and what will happen to them once the data starts flowing into Arrowhead. Anyways, I plan on continuing to test out the new offerings in the coming days, and if anything changes, expect a full follow-up report. Remember to hit subscribe and to ring that notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. All my socials, including a link to my fast-growing Helldiver Discord community, can be found in the video description. Also, a huge thanks to the now over 225,000 of you incredible ladies and gentlemen for smashing subscribe and supporting my content. Until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer signing off.